And welcome to Trophy Kids presented by Bad News Media. It is April 26th. I am your host, Nate. I am here to give you a breakdown of first round of the NFL draft that happened last night. Going to go over every pick here, quick hitters on some thoughts around them. First off, right off the bat, Kyler Murray, number one. This was the pick of destiny. We all knew it was coming as soon as Cliff Kingsbury had gotten hired. Josh Rosen was going to be either on the way out or headed to the bench, which is sort of insane when we think about this. I like Kyle Murray. I think he's got the athleticism of Michael Vick and the technique of Drew Brees type of deal. If he succeeds, it is going to be electric. We all win in that scenario. But I do have the feeling that we're going to look back on this and we're going to laugh about how much of a dumpster fire that the Cardinals end up being. Not because of Kyle Murray, but because of the absolute dysfunction in the front office. The idea that you drafted a quarterback last year, a very good prospect, who to no real fault of his own, I mean, sure, there were definitely some things he could have done better last year, Josh Rosen. There was a lot that he could have done better, but he had no offensive line help. The defense was atrociously bad, as famous words of Rex Ryan. They couldn't have stopped a nosebleed type of deal. There wasn't pieces around him. Then they go and fire the coach after a year, which is crazy. And they basically spend two extremely valuable picks now on quarterbacks in back-to-back years. I don't think Kyle Murray's going to have a lot of success, at least off the bat, because there's so many holes. I mean, the Cardinals' holes are bigger than the Titanic. I hope it works out. You know, people are down in Cliff Kingsbury. I'll say this. You know, coaching in college is so reliant on who you can get as 18-year-olds to come to your school. The NFL, it's different. You're drafting, you're signing free agents. It's a different ball game. So if he's good in the X's and O's, which they say he is, maybe the pick works. But I don't think it's gonna be a good pick. I think we're gonna look back and see this as a disaster because the organization as a whole is such a disaster. No fault to Kyler Murray, but I hope it works out because that's a win-win for all of us because that will be an electric factory down in Arizona if Kyle Murray succeeds. Next, San Francisco 49ers. They did what everybody thought, draft Nick Bosa. The Bosa family is insane. There's really not much more to say about that. Key there, can he stay healthy? The Bosas seem to have a track of injuries, but he's a freak player, awesome pick for the 49ers, great defensive end. You have to imagine he's going to succeed in the NFL. The talent level is off the walls. Then you get the New York Jets, who I really think is what the Cardinals should have done. I think they shouldn't have hired Cliff Kingsbury, but by hiring Cliff Kingsbury, they're forced to pick Kyler Murray. They don't hire Cliff Kingsbury, they hire a different coach. They could have made this pick, and that is Quan Williams out of Alabama. Phenomenal pick. I love this kid. He is big, goofy. They describe him as a 100-pound bar of soap trying to block him. He is a generational talent, I think, at defensive tackle. He is phenomenal. The Jets get a great pick here. It's going to be funny watching that big boy in the color green they've got going on there in those jerseys, but he's a load at defensive tackle. He's awesome. He's a game changer on the defensive front. The Jets are putting together a very good defense. I don't love Sam Darnold. Hopefully he can put it together. If he can put it together, the Jets are becoming a real serious thought here. I mean, we obviously haven't seen Williams play yet in the NFL, but they're putting together some pieces and some assets, and there's some talent on that roster. So watch out for the Jets. They might be getting serious here. Oakland Raiders, number 4 pick of the draft. They pick Colin Farrell out of Clemson. Interesting pick. A lot of people view this as a stretch. I like all of the Clemson defensive linemen. I don't know how successful they're all necessarily going to be in the NFL. Farrell is good, I think, but does seem like a bit of a stretch to be drafting him 4 when most people had him higher up in the draft, especially when you consider Josh Allen's out there. Like, this pick is really insane when it comes down to it, when you have Josh Allen out there, who's an insane player, and I'm going to get to him in a moment. But to draft Farrell here, it seems weird. It doesn't seem like a great start to their draft. I don't love the stretch, but then again, hey, if he pans out and is really dominant like we think he can be, and he can get pressure on the quarterback, that doesn't matter then when you picked him. But don't love it when you have Josh Allen out there. Number 5, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Devin White. Let's go. Love this pick. Now, do I love it as much as a Josh Allen, given he had fallen? No. I would have much rather gone Josh Allen, but I went into the night thinking we were going to get Devin White because Josh Allen would be picked 4. Devin White is a phenomenal linebacker. He fits a need. Now, we'll say this. There has been some commentary around this pick and what it means, especially given Josh Allen is there. I always have said my principle as if I were a GM, if you were drafting in the top 5, hell, if you're really even drafting in the top 10, with the exception of the quarterback position, if you need a quarterback, go get it if you have the grade. You should be drafting the best player on the board. If you're in the top 5, definitely. Doesn't matter the position. Doesn't matter if you've got a good guy at that position. You should be drafting whoever the best graded player on your board is and taking him. I cannot see a world in which Devin White is graded better than Josh Allen, but Devin White is a hell of a pick. The argument being made is that you don't pick inside linebackers at 5 is dumb as shit. That would mean you don't pick Luke Kuechly. That means you don't pick Brian Urlacher type of deal. If Devin White is a baller, he upgrades, hopefully, that linebacking core. He fills a big need for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Quan Alexander, and replacing him. I like the pick. I think he's going to be a great player. Would have loved Josh Allen, but I love Devin White as well. So it's a win-win. I think if it was me, I would have picked Josh Allen, but I like Devin White. Number 6, the Giants. The pick that is getting all of the talk right now, Daniel Jones. The Giants are the new Browns. They are absolutely the new Browns here. Daniel Jones is a stretch at best. Now, here's what I will say. The Giants did what is a principal kind of move, I think. I think if you grade out quarterbacks and you have your guy, you shouldn't try to get cute and fancy and hope that he slides to you. You should go get him, I think, as long as the asking price isn't too big. But Daniel Jones at 6? At 6? Especially when Dave Gettleman came out today saying he might sit for 3 years. You don't draft a guy at 6 and pay him that kind of first-round money to sit for 3 years. Because his contract, you're going to have to give him a contract extension after 4. You're going to, get maybe a year, maybe 2 of evaluation in games of him? Plus, Daniel Jones is, he went up draft boards the further away he got from a football field. Yeah, he looks like a great quarterback prototypically. He's got a big arm, good touch on the deep ball, big, tall guy, looks good in shorts type of deal, throwing the ball. But when it came down to actually playing the football games, there are definitely some things there to like. I like Daniel Jones. I don't like him at 6, though. That seems crazy to me. It seems like a terrible pick for the Giants. I actually can't believe they did that. I can't believe they drafted him over Haskins. That is the nuts. That's the craziest parts. Because Haskins is the best quarterback coming out of college, the best prospect for the NFL coming out of college. Kyler Murray is not the number 1 drafted quarterback if Cliff Kingsbury is not the coach at Arizona. He's just not. Dwayne Haskins is. This is ludicrous to me that they got Daniel Jones. But sorry. I'm sorry, Giant fans. I don't have anything else to say. Finally, Josh Allen gets drafted at Jacksonville, pick number 7. Great pick. We just talked about it. Josh Allen, he's easily a top 3 best player in this draft. Some will place him differently. I'll say he's top 3 prospect coming out. Love Josh Allen. I think he's going to be a game changer in the NFL. He's going to set the edge for you. He's great. He can drop back into coverage. He did a lot of that at Kentucky. Awesome pick. This really helps the Jacksonville Jaguars, who their defense sort of fell off a little bit last year. This definitely adds a very big piece, good piece to add. Great pick. Detroit Lions at 8, TJ Hawkinson. People have been comparing him to Gronk. My co-host on Thursday, Tim, is not too thrilled about the pick. Not anything against TJ Hawkinson. Thinks he's a good football player, but it does follow the right logic. Detroit has a lot of issues. This is a defensive line heavy draft. This would have been a really good time to go get a defensive lineman. Matthew Stafford is not known for using tight ends really that well. Now, there is a new coach in town with Patricia. Not new, but second year. He comes from the Patriots where you're using Gronk. Obviously, Gronk is the comparison to TJ. There's only ever going to be one Gronk, but TJ's game does mirror it a lot. I think TJ is a great player. We'll have to see how it works. The famous example of Stafford not really being able to use a tight end is Eric Ebron, who, when he went to the Colts, we all know what he did there last year. So we'll see how he gets utilized in Detroit. I like the pick. He's a really good player. He looks like an Iowa player when you see him, but good pick overall. Then you got Ed Oliver at Buffalo Bills. Also, I think that's a good pick. He's a great defensive tackle. He is got a lot of talent. We'll see how it transitions to the NFL. Like it for the Bills. It upgrades their defensive line. Good pick overall. Then the Steelers trade up to get Devin Bush. Devin Bush is a funny pick to me, only because, one, all-time worst outfit of the NFL draft. Top 10 worst outfits of the NFL draft, for sure. But this guy, he feels like a Pittsburgh linebacker. He brings that type of edge and that mentality you want your middle linebacker to have. I hated him in college purely out of the fact that I hate Michigan. Football, I have a love-hate relationship. Love hardball, hate Michigan football overall. But this is a Steelers pick. This is a Steelers player. They're getting a middle linebacker that makes sense. He brings a great attitude. He plays the position the way you want the inside linebacker to play. He's going to be awesome. Good replacement for Ryan Shazier as far as a personality, a guy in the locker room, a defensive key piece. I like the pick. I think that's going to work out really well for the Steelers. Good pick. Bengals. Man, the Cincinnati Bengals finally did something that makes sense. They didn't go out and get a quarterback because they've got a decent one right now that you can get by with. They went and they upgraded their offensive line, which is huge because they need. If you're going to eventually draft a quarterback in the coming years, which that's the thought behind the Bengals, you got to be able to protect him. And Jonah Williams out of Alabama is a great start. I mean, this is a football guy. He is a thumper. He knows the game. Really smart, big physical guy. This is an awesome pick. This is one of my favorite picks of the draft. It fits a big need. It's a good talent upgrade. His grade is high, so it makes sense to go get him at 11. Awesome pick. If you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, yeah, it's not as exciting as getting a wide receiver, a quarterback, or a big-name guy. Getting that offensive line, it's not as sexy of a pick, some would think. But for us football guys, we know it's an awesome pick. That is a foundation builder to build the house on. Awesome pick, smart move. Don't expect that from the Cincinnati Bengals. Usually don't make one, but a good pick overall. Green Bay Packers. This pick, this is my watch out. We got probably a bust on our hands. Gary, defensive end out of Michigan. I mean, he's got all the tools that you would want, but it was very apparent the guy opposite of him, Chase Winovich, had the higher motor. When you look at his tape, he's not really getting after it on obvious passing downs. There's, I don't want to question a guy's motor, but it definitely raises questions. You have to sit here and think, is this guy getting the most out of his potential? And that's a concern if he's not doing it at Michigan. I think that this is a pick that could be a bust. I hope it's not. I hope all these guys find success, but we know statistically that's just not the case. Some of these players are going to be whiffs on organization parts. Hopefully, he proves us wrong because he's a hell of a talented kid. He's got all the physical tools you'd want, but my concern there would be motor and being able to get after the quarterback. I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't love the pick. Miami Dolphins, Christian Wilkins. I love Wilkins. He's my favorite D lineman out of that Clemson group because of his personality, who he is as a person, his character. I mean, all-time post-draft interview, you got to root for a guy like that. He is awesome. Very excited for the Miami Dolphins there. I think they get a good defensive tackle. He's athletic for his big frame. He's going to be good. He's a stud to have down there in the trenches. Really like him. I really hope it works out for him. I'm rooting for him. He's a good guy to root for. The Atlanta Falcons in my division. Chris Lindstorm. I mean, probably the best guard in the draft, I'm going to say. Best pure guard. He's a 4-year starter out of BC. You know what you're getting when you get a BC linebacker. It's like getting a BC guard. It's like getting a linebacker back in the Penn State days where they were linebacker U. Like, it's just a solid, good pick. Like, you feel it in your bones. You know what you're getting. You're getting something sturdy, something you can rely on. They're going to be a good football player. I really like him. Really good guard, going to help protect Matt Ryan. I don't love that for the Bucs optics, but good pick for the Atlanta Falcons. Then the Washington Redskins. Man, oh man, has Dan Snyder become a draft genius. This is an all-time value pick here. Dwayne Haskins at 15. I mean, even in your wildest, wettest dreams, you could not have imagined getting Dwayne Haskins at 15. We all thought when we heard Dan Snyder was going to take over the draft or draft prospect, process, geez, can't speak there, that he was going to end up jumping up like he did with Robert Griffin III to get Haskins. This is a phenomenal pick. Haskins, he's my number one quarterback this draft. He is going to absolutely shred teams if you give him a little time, which the Redskins, their offensive line is good, but they have real healthy durability concerns there. If they can stay healthy, that offensive line is good. He's going to get some time to potentially sit if he needs it. You've got two good football minds, Alex Smith and Case Keenum, so he can pull from their mental game, which is good. The physical game not always there, but he has some pieces around him. I really love this pick. This is the value pick of the draft. And the Redskins had another great value pick later in the draft, but this is a phenomenal pick. I love it. I cannot believe he fell to 15. That is a steal for the Washington Redskins. If you're a Washington Redskins fan, you got to be feeling really good right now. The key though is going to be make sure that defense or that offensive line can stay healthy. If not, you're going to have to go find some pieces to make sure you protect him, because Haskins is a guy. He's got mobility. I think the myth that he doesn't have mobility, yeah, he doesn't have Kyler Murray explosive, insane mobility, but he can move within the pocket well enough. The comparison is always to Big Ben. He's got that big frame. He's an insanely accurate passer. Like I said, just remember the Michigan game. That was one of college football's best defenses, and he murked them, thrashed them around like he was playing the JV backup squad in high school type of deal. So great pick. Brian Burns, Carolina Panthers. This is the scary pick for me. As a Bucs fan, I hate this. As a Panthers fan, you got to love this. Brian Burns is a guy who he put on 20 pounds of muscle, and his speed did not really decrease. It pretty much stayed the same. That is terrifying. That is Nightmare on Elm Street type of scary if you're a tackle trying to block him. I mean, he was eating a 5,000 calorie a day diet. His speed didn't drop off. He added that 20 pounds of muscle. Terrifying for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers to have to deal with him and everybody else in that division. That's a scary pick. Good pick for the Panthers. Gives you a good edge guy. I really like him. I think he's going to be able to get after the quarterback. Good pick. He seems very dedicated to football. Like it. Giants came up again, and once again, they made a stretch, I think. Dexter Lawrence, I mean, good defensive tackle, one of the other Clemson guys, third Clemson guy to go. Really like him. I mean, I'm not going to say he's a stretch, actually. Let me back that up. He's not a stretch. You know, if your grade had him right around there, I don't hate the grade. I like Dexter Lawrence. A good player. We'll see how he turns out. I like it. Minnesota Vikings, Garrett Bradbury, really good center. This is a very good pick. Once again, not one of those sexy picks kind of like the Bengals, but fits a really good piece into that offensive line. I like him. Tennessee Titans, Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle at Mississippi State. If you're watching the draft, you saw the video that is in his past when he was 18 years old. That was a weird moment with Trey Wingo. Like, they dissected every second of that clip before we even saw it. We can all see it. I'm a big believer in second chances. I believe people that work hard deserve a second chance. From everything we've heard about everybody who knows Jeffrey Simmons, it seems like that moment in his life, that huge mistake in his life at 18 years old, changed him for the better. He has become a better person from it. He's grown as an individual. His character is rock solid from what people have been saying. This is his second chance. I'm not a big third, fourth chance kind of guy when it comes to playing professional football and these off-the-field issues, but I believe in second chances, and you have to give a guy, I think, a second chance who earned it. He seems to have done everything he can to be a better person, a more productive person in our society. So I hope it works out. But that is because he was viewed as a top 5 type of level talent. That's a steal for the Tennessee Titans if he ends up working out. Got to watch him on the off-the-field type of stuff, but hopefully that's behind him. Denver Broncos, Noah Fant, got another Iowa guy. That is crazy to think. Tight end university out here in Iowa. 2 tight ends, good blocker, good player. We'll see how he pans out. I don't have insanely high hopes for him. Joe Flacco, also not a guy that I think is going to use that position really great. That offense, I don't know, with Vic Fangio as the head coach. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see if that pick fits the system. But not a really bad pick. Green Bay Packers picking again. Darnell Savage, also, I think, a good pick. This is a guy who's flown under the radar, I think, a little bit here. He's going to be a good safety, good cover guy, can come up and put a hat on you. Good pick overall. Philadelphia Eagles, Andre Dillard, Pac-12 lineman. We'll see. We'll see how it works. He's pro-ready. He's ready to play in that type of offense. A lot of pass protection practice over at Washington State, to say the least. The whole air raid offense, if you didn't get that. I like him. Good guy in the edge to have. We'll see. Not as good as the pick, though, that came up next at the same position. Houston, Texas, Titus Howard. This dude, this could be a bad mammo jambo kind of deal here. I mean, this could end up being the baddest boy in the block at tackle here. Super athletic. He was a quarterback in high school. Shredded up, put on a lot of LBs to play tackle, and he is a freak. Yes, he's from Alabama State, a lower school, but at the offensive line position, who cares? He's got the athleticism. He's still got some things to work on, but watch out. He seems to have the work ethic. He wants to come and play football. I circled that pick as the lineman. That really, I think, 4 or 5 years from now, we're talking as one of the most dominant linemen in the game. Oakland Raiders, Josh Jacobs. Love this pick. Love this pick. This is a guy, he's not afraid to blow you up like Marshawn. He is a Marshawn type. He's going to run through you. He can run around you if he needs to. He's got great quickness, really good physical attributes. Didn't get pounded a ton at Alabama, really, because, they had multiple backs they could use, so the legs are fresh. I love this pick. Love it. This is an awesome pick for you Raiders here. Good running back. First running back off the board. I think it's crazy. Bryce Love is so far underrated in this draft. I'll be interested to see where he goes as a running back. But Josh Jacobs, good one. Baltimore Ravens, Marquise Brown, Antonio Brown's cousin. You got to love the Brown story. I mean, this kid is a hard worker. He's the type of kid you want on your football team. Awesome story. For those of you who don't know, Marquise Brown had one offer out of high school. It fell through, so he went to the College of the Canyons. He earned money on the side being a roller coaster operator at Six Flags. He then went to Oklahoma. It was a top target for Mayfield and Kyler Murray. He tallied 2,413 receiving yards, 17 TDs in just 2 seasons as a Sooner. He's a small guy, but man, is he fast. He is going to light a fire into people's asses. I don't know if I love the fit. I would have much rather had like a Neil Henry here go, which we're going to get to him in a little bit. I think that would have been the better fit for him because he's small. You're going to have to get creative with Brown, with Lamar as your quarterback. I prefer Neil Henry here because, he's a guy that you can kind of throw it up to and he'll bail you out a good amount of the time, I think. But Brown, he's going to be a hell of a football player. You got to get creative with him in your offense, though, which I think, the Ravens are already going to have to be creative with Lamar Jackson, who I think is going to be a good quarterback down the line. I really like Lamar. I wrote a piece on it last year. Go to Bad News Media, check it out if you want. But yeah, I like it. I like Brown. I'm rooting for him. He's a baller. Washington Redskins, another huge value pick. Montez Sweat, Mississippi State. He's a baller. He's going to play well. There were some issues medically, but he got cleared enough by the Redskins. At 26, if he doesn't pan out, I don't think you're angry at picking him at 26. I mean, he's a top-tier level talent. If he's boom or bust, sure, you lost it on a 26 pick, but at that time, insane value pick. I think he's going to do well, but awesome there. Oklahoma Raiders, Jonathan Abram. Don't have much to say about it. He's a hitter. He'll lay a hat down. Don't hate the pick. Same with the Chargers. Jerry Tiller, don't have much to say about him. Adding another piece to that defense, that's good. They got to get a little tougher up front. Getting a defensive tackle out of Notre Dame. He's a good player, good football player. We'll see how he pans out. Seattle Seahawks, same thing. LJ Colliner, I don't have a ton on him. But, defensive guy. This is a defensive-heavy draft. These guys, there's talent. We'll see how he pans out with the Seahawks. New York Giants pick again. My boy DeAndre Baker. I love DeAndre Baker in college. We'll see how he translates as a corner in the NFL. But as far as a corner prospect, he's great. He's my highest grade. He's my best corner prospect, I think. This is the first really good pick, I think, by the New York Giants out of their 3. Don't hate that. Atlanta Falcons getting up there, getting Cable Macri, good tackle, another Pac-12 guy. He'll be probably pretty sturdy. The Atlanta Falcons are going offensive line here. Can't hate it. Now the steal of the draft. The New England Patriots, this is a cheat code. Getting N'Keal Harry, who is my number one wide receiver, is insane. Tom Brady and him are about to torch the league. That is a match made in heaven. This kid is phenomenal. He has got size. He has got hands. He's got good technique. He's fast. He runs good routes. Really, there's nothing bad to say about him. I've watched a ton of his games last year. Freak. Absolute freak. So, New England Patriots there. The league fucked up letting them get him. That is for sure. Him and Tom Brady are going to have a field day while Tom Brady's still playing. Hell of a pick. Hell of a steal. That's the steal of the first round. Close to Dwayne Haskins, I think. But just because of the fit. The fit is insane. So that's what I have to say in the first round. Check out our pod coming out next week. We'll talk about the draft as a whole, some other NFL news that was going on. But until then, peace.